future trends, deep insights, industry leaders. This is the iGaming Next podcast with your host, Pierre and Lindh.
This podcast is brought to you by Pragmatic Solutions, the leading iGaming PAM platform with a modular approach, including many benefits like a fast, secure, and scalable API-based platform, integrated with all major third-party products and services. Make sure you head over to Pragmatic Solutions and join our smart thinking.
Kim, you know, I don't know how many people have messaged me in the last 2 years to request to have you on as one of the podcast guests here today. And so finally we have the opportunity to have you here. And you just returned back from Japan. So first of all, how is the jet lag? And how do you say the game? Pachinko?
Pachinko.
How did the Pachinko grind end up?
Yeah, I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much, Pierre, for inviting me. And the jet lag it's not too bad, actually. I managed to sleep a lot on the plane. And then I forced myself to be awake when we landed. So I'd get basically into the rhythm again. Yeah. Pachinko is difficult. It's difficult to win in Pachinko. Yeah. We ended down, but the good thing is, at least from what I could see, I don't know, they're mostly on Japanese, I don't understand that much. Yeah. But you don't bet that high in comparison to what they do on slots, example.
Okay. So it ends up not being too much nosebleed, in other words.
No nosebleed Pachinko. It would be fun though, but not so far.
Because that's the only game in Japan, land-based, that's the only kind of gambling machines that are legal in Japan, right?
Yeah, so technically they see it as you're not gambling. So what happens is you win a lot of the balls that you use to shoot out. So if you get a bonus round, you'll win a lot of them. Then you go and exchange the balls for gold. And then you go to a pawn shop that is located next door and change the gold for cash. So technically you win gifts, and the gifts are pure gold. I actually brought one home. I'm a bit sad I didn't bring it here today.
Okay. So you have
but I brought 0.1 grams of gold with me home.
Well, that's a good start at least. Continue the Pachinko ground, and maybe it will turn into 1 gram eventually.
Yeah, but it's a fun game, and it's. I don't understand why we don't see more Pachinko-like slots, because I already, after playing it one time, have an idea how to make a slot that is Pachinko-focused. And Pachinko is, you could argue it's skill-based, it's a lot luck-based. For those who don't understand, it's like a pinball, pretty much, but you shoot up balls, and you're supposed to hit an area and then land. And then when you land in a specific area, you're supposed to get 3 numbers of the same. Like 777, and then you go into a bonus round. That's where you win a lot. Okay. And already now I have an idea how we could make a Pachinko slot online. Okay,
but technically, if you were to be the best Pachinko player in the world, you mentioned that there is like an element of skill. Would you be able to beat the house, or is it kind of like blackjack, where even if you play perfectly, you still don't have an edge against the house?
Well, in blackjack you could count cards as well, but. I actually don't know. So obviously when it comes to making money somehow, every week I get a lot of people messaging me, "Oh, Kim, I have this amazing roulette system, you should try it." And knowing gambling or roulette pretty well, I know it's unbeatable unless the wheel is flawed. Yeah. Or you can clock it somehow. But
so Martingale is a myth. That's what you're saying. Because you're kind of breaking my dream here. Okay?
It works under 2 presumptions. Right. That infinite bankroll, which no one has, and that the house allows infinite bets, which no one does. If those 2 were fulfilled, Martingale would work. Yeah, exactly. But they're not, unfortunately. But with Pachinko, I could say it's plausible that it's beatable, because if you manage to aim for the right section and hit the ball exactly enough times, you will get the bonus rounds. Then I don't know how the RNG works, if it's fair or if it's somehow skewed a bit.
Yeah, fair enough. So maybe Pachinko, a professional player at some point, could be the
next career. It would be amazing if we have a Pachinko. Yeah, or if we have a professional Pachinko player in the comments, let us know, and we'll be happy to discuss that, because I think it's a very interesting game. And I'm amazed that it's not more popular in Europe, because it's actually very fun.
Yeah. So Kim, obviously you were more or less a professional gambler to the extent, or like you were so fond of gambling that you became a professional gambler in some regard. And this is what I want to talk a little bit more about today. Myself, I have a long background in the gambling industry as well, and being a gambler myself since a very young age. I want to start by asking you, what is the first memory that you have of gambling for money?
The first memory was on Everest Poker, probably, well, more than 15 years ago. I don't know exactly, but I remember my friend started playing on Everest Poker, and you can sign up an account and play these tables called Shasta tables that were sit and go free rolls. So basically the house would give you 5 cents in the prize pool or 10 cents in the prize pool. So all my friends started doing that, and I started doing it as well. And I started playing these free rolls, and then won 5 cents, lost it, won 5 cents. And then eventually I found out that, all right, if I just play really tight, everyone else is loose. So if I just play really tight, I will beat these guys. So I ran from nothing up to $3,600.
Really?
Yeah.
From like 5 cents?
Yeah, well, from zero, from the free rolls, sit-to-go free rolls.
Right, so that's a lot of money when you're that young.
Yeah, unfortunately, I hadn't entered the right credentials, so I asked my mother Mom, can I make an account here with your credentials? And she said, no, you can't. I said, I won't put in any money. I'll just grind it up from free. Yeah. So I grinded her account up to like $5. And then shipped them 3,600 from my account. Yeah. So I bet 499 folded, and then I bet 9 and folded basically until she had all my money on her account.
It's like such an obvious collusion.
Yeah, that was the problem. I was quite young, so I didn't think that far. Yeah. What happened was I tried to cash it out to my mom's account, and they blocked it.
Yeah, they
blocked my own account. Yeah.
That's what was happening.
And then basically I made an account in my name and started playing.
Yeah.
And deposited $10, I think. And then ran it up to 10K, I think, in 2 months.
Really? And so that was your entry to gambling, was mostly poker back in the day?
Yeah, it was only poker. So I always saw the slots as a kind of, a losing proposition. Yeah. Then So when I played poker for probably around 7 years, I didn't like slots because, it's a minus EV game, and poker for me was plus EV. But when time went on, and when I went to study at the university, I had a friend who was playing a lot of slots. And he told me, well, Kim, you can actually beat them if you take a deposit bonus, it's positive expected value. Because you deposit 100 euros, they give you 100 euros, and then, you play half with their money, half with your money, and then when you run it through, it's going to come out positive. So actually, that's how I started getting into slots, that we were bonus abusing during university. And eventually I won really big. So I think I deposited 100, and I won a bit over 10,000 euros. And my friend told me, why don't you stream this on Twitch? Because my reactions were kind of unorthodox. I jumped around and said, I beat the system, easy game. And said and done, 2015 I started streaming on Twitch.
Those very, very early days. Was there even a slots category then?
Yeah, there was one sizable streamer that was streaming, and that was Casino Twitcher. Okay. So I could say pretty much the second one. I don't think he streams anymore, or he doesn't stream anymore. Yeah. So right now I'm the oldest one that's still streaming.
I heard you're part of the old guard these days. So
the OGs, yeah,
the OGs. But I remember back then in the poker days in the 2000s, where the industry was a lot more lax at that time. So to understand that the bonuses that the operators were handing out gave the players plus EV and they could be abused were not always common knowledge amongst the operators at that time. There were so many obvious exploits in the 2000s that a lot of the professional poker players were abusing. I remember the most obvious one which bankrolled a lot of the Swedish professional poker players, was the currency transactions in the operators. So before the shared wallet, if you remember, you needed to deposit to the operator, and that was in euro, for example, and then you would move the money to the poker wallet, which was in dollar, say. And the thing was that the currency was only updated once per day, the currency values. So say that they were updated at noon, for example. Then obviously at 11:55, the players would know which currency would move up and move down, essentially. So say that you have €1,000,000 in your account, you would just move that to one wallet or the other, and then the currencies would update, and you would earn, say, 0.5%. But 0.5% every day of €1,000,000 is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, yeah.
And then it can swing more, it can swing 1% or 2%, and you just earn a lot of money. And this was before kind of the fraud teams understood these like basic kind of schemes, because at that time the industry was just growing so quickly that no one really had any clue what was happening. The operators were making so much money anyway that they didn't really understand that these like elaborate schemes were going on at the same time. And there were quite a lot of famous poker players who got wind of this and who built their bank.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, 0.5% a day for the entire year, that's a lot of money.
yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, it's the good old days back then, that's for sure, in the 2000s.
Yeah, it was way more lenient. I mean, you could easily set up different sports books and bet against each other.
Yeah.
Take a bonus on both sides, bet on even odds.
Yeah.
Take a bit of burn rate and then cash it out. That we had quite a few doing that in school as well.
Yeah.
So they were way more lenient back in the days.
Classic. And when I started playing I started playing on party poker back in like the mid 2000s, and then the bonuses were even more lax, because that was like right at the peak of the poker boom. And what party poker would do is they would give you a $50 deposit bonus without any requirement. So you would deposit and you'd receive the $50, and you could just withdraw it straight away.
That's good terms. That's very good terms.
So, I was young. So I would just open accounts and get the $50. And my like fun rule for myself was like, I'm gonna open an account and then either I double or nothing the $50. And so sometimes I would lose them, and then I would just open a new account. I would double it and I would withdraw.
Oh.
But then after doing that like maybe 10 times, then I got a call from PokerStars, and they're like, we can see that you have a lot of accounts on your IP address. What is this about? And I said, oh yeah, my mother, my father, the dog.
The dog. So everyone wants a piece of action.
Everyone wants the cat. Yeah. But they said, yeah, but everything, all the accounts are under just one name. I said, oh yeah, they are so silly. They filled it under my name. I'm so sorry about that. It's not gonna happen again. And then they say, okay, all right, thank you so much for telling us. And then they just say goodbye.
So they would actually pay you out after doing that?
Every time, yeah. But then from there I got scared. I was thinking, they're going to call the police or something. I was thinking, so I stopped it at that time. But that was how wild. There was like such a wild west at that time. You could get away with anything, basically. Yeah,
but basically during the poker boom, everyone wanted to play poker, and obviously the operators back then made a lot of money. So they had I can imagine they had extremely good terms. I tended to stick to Everest Poker, and then I did some on 888 as well.
Yeah.
But if I got wind of what you're saying here, I would obviously have done it as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting time, that's for sure. So now came, obviously, you mentioned that you started streaming in 2015 on Twitch. And how was the streaming community at that time? Did it take a long time for you to kind of build a following, or was it pretty quick journey for you to amass a following?
Well, as I was very fast, one of the first in, it actually grew way faster than I had anticipated. So, and there started coming threads on the Swedish equivalent to Reddit, Flashback. I got a
I don't
thread.
know if that's the same equivalent.
Not really. It's a bit different, but just so our English-speaking audience understands.
Okay. I like it.
But I got a thread, and they were speculating.
It's more like 4chan, I would say. No?
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, semantics. Yes.
But so through that thread, or that I got mentioned in a big thread, we got even more viewers. So in the beginning, it actually grew very, very fast, and I think that's when. So I was a player. I wasn't an affiliate, so I didn't know much about affiliation. But then I noticed after a few months, it started coming in other streamers that some were obviously playing with house money. Which I found out later, they were just affiliates trying to bring players, while I was trying to get more deposit bonuses, so I could play more. But yeah, I'd say people were. It was way easier to grow an audience back in the days, and it was a lot of fun, but it was also annoying for someone that played with their own real money to see how it also grew outside the real money.
So the fake money streamers, they started pretty much straight away.
Yeah, they came pretty early. I think when you see these threads on Flashback and someone says, "Well, this guy is playing slots online," it's like, would anyone watch that? That was the question I got in the beginning, and that's what I thought as well. Do people want to watch someone else gamble? Yeah. And well, it seems like they did, and then others got wind of it, and it's like, oh, we see the business opportunity here.
Yeah.
Whilst I more saw it as a fun thing.
Yeah, exactly. For you, it was more organic thing. Like you just love gambling, and it's cool to stream at the same time and have people watching you. So.
Yeah, I was studying at the same time. So
when did it become a business? Like, how did the idea for then that became CasinoGrounds come about?
Well, basically, at that point, we felt, so I went together with a few other streamers, like Nick Slots, for example, and he's not streaming that much today, but we wanted a community for the real money streamers. So we started CasinoGrounds. There was a gap in the market, is what we saw. So we started CasinoGrounds together with me, him, a guy called Istok, and Andreas, who used to run High Stakes DB, amongst other things. Right. So we went together and started a real money community to kind of give the streamers a stamp that these are real money streamers, and the others we don't know. But these guys will always play with real money and their own money.
Okay, so that was the idea essentially in the beginning, to create this like stamp of approval, so to say.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So that's something Phil Pearson tried to do this as well now recently, right, with his project. I don't know if you know about that, but Phil Pearson, he tried to start this project where they would like certify real money streamers and fake money streamers. So you would have kind of like a stamp of approval, like you said, like they would open their books and you would see the actual deposits and so on. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah, verified streamer. Phil Pearson, I think, is a great guy. He has a lot of opinions, but in general, I like Phil Pearson a lot. So
me too.
No, but
it didn't work out, I don't think.
No, well, it is a bit tricky in a way because now there's so many streamers with different setups. We still do the setup I had when I started, so we usually don't take more than 100% deposit bonus, and we usually have the same wagering requirements as everyone else who does their first deposit.
Yeah.
But I mean, nowadays, all right, let's say someone gets a 400% bonus, but still deposits their own money and gets their own money. Where do you draw the line? It's kind of difficult to decide exactly where to draw the line.
Yeah, there's a lot of like gray areas in between, essentially. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It must have been a bit frustrating though, not to see that like you guys were kind of going above and beyond to work with integrity. And then other streamers, they would kind of, not care too much about whether they play for their own money or not. And obviously, many of them became quite big.
Yeah, well, obviously, it's it's not fun to see. But I always believe that the good guys win in the like the movies, the good guys always win in the end. Exactly. So that's why I've always decided to stick by my guns. And then what the others do, it used to upset me a lot. Nowadays I'm more like, they do whatever they want. We can make a joke about it here and there, but I don't really get angry when I go to sleep, just because I'll just let them do whatever they want to do, and we will do what we feel is right and ethical. Yeah.
No, fair enough. And I mean, even to stick to your guns and stay like ethical in this regard, when you have these opportunities there that would make you a lot of money, what has driven you to not take that money?
Yeah, well, it is. So I've always, as I come from poker and I did pretty good in poker, I've always had a bankroll. And obviously it's tempting when you can make maybe up to 10 times as much as you're making just by taking some what I see as shady deals. But also I believe I'm in this for the long run. I love streaming. I love everything around streaming, and I want to make sure that I go to sleep at night feeling that I've been honest and transparent with my audience. Yeah. So that's for me is worth more than the money that I could make.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty remarkable, because you don't see, especially in the gambling industry, which kind of tends to attract like a lot of greed. It's like the very definition to some extent of this industry at times. You know, to see that there is people who are genuinely just in love with the game and who care more about working with integrity is not so common, I don't think.
Yeah, well, I think there are a lot of people that tries to make gambling more healthy and better for the longevity of it. Yeah. But then obviously when there is quick money up for grabs, people will get tempted. Yeah. And I do understand that. It's just that I rather stay away from that. Yeah. And I mean, some people will argue that streaming gambling is wrong all in all. So that there are kind of different sides of the spectrum, and I feel like I've put myself in a position where I can be honest and transparent and go to sleep at night and tell my audience that, all right, this is what I do. Remember that we can only do this because we get more deposit bonuses than the average player. So that's very important to keep in mind, and make sure there are certain moments when you gamble where you think you still today almost think you have it figured out. Like I must be doing something right here because I'm winning all the time. Yeah. And then when you're losing all the time, it's like there's no way the RTP is really 96% here. It's like so still to this day, it's gambling. It can become an illusion very easily that it's something that you can beat over the long run, but you won't win in the long run.
Except if you play martingale.
Except if you play martingale with an infinite bankroll, and infinite that the casino allows infinite bets.
Yes. To take a step back, Kim, you recently attended the high stakes poker, like this classic television poker show that was very popular in the 2000s, and it's something that I grew up with, and I know that you mentioned the same as well. I would wake up on like the Monday morning, like really excited because the new high stakes poker episode had come out, to see what was going to happen this week. All the legends were playing, Doyle Branson, Phil Ivey, all these guys, and then at some point it became like it morphed into this show where like it was kind of like the legacy players versus the online players. They started playing against each other, who was going to come out on top. It was so exciting back then. Then obviously high stakes poker went away for a couple of years, but now it has then returned, and you managed to get yourself an invite to this game. Like, first of all, how did that happen? And then obviously I would love to hear more about the game itself. How did you feel sitting next to like some of the biggest like poker dinosaurs, legends that has ever been known?
Yeah, well, it's a funny story really, because my dream since I started playing poker and I watch high stakes poker, my dream was to be on the show. I looked at it and say, I hope that someday I'm good enough to be on the show and play with the best in the world. I never became good enough to play with them. But I managed to build up a bankroll big enough to be able to play with them. So I mentioned it on stream when High Stakes Poker relaunched. I said it would be my dream to be on there. And funnily enough, we have a lot of viewers. One viewer from the US reached out to me and said, I actually know one of the participants. I can put you in contact. Said and done, he put me in contact with her, and she put me in contact with the producers. And they took me on the show.
Amazing. And so then you sit there, like you get to, it's in Vegas, I suppose. Yeah. So you get to Vegas and you get into to the room of you know, these like legends of the poker world. And I suppose this is by far the biggest poker game you've been in.
Oh yeah.
The blinds were
200, 400 with 800 straddle.
200, 400 with an 800 straddle. So that's essentially you need to buy in at least 100K. That's like the
100K was the min.
Yeah, that's the minimum buy-in in this game. Like, and you get to play with some of the best players in the world. How did it feel like sitting there playing with them? I mean, did you feel terror or excitement or a mix of both?
I'd say it's a mix of both. I mean, I've been watching these guys growing up. It felt unreal because this is my dream. So we all have a dream to meet someone, to do something. This was my dream, and I couldn't believe it when I was there in the studio. I was the first person there out of anyone, looking around, asking a lot of questions. Yeah. And then I remember going to the bathroom, going out, and that was Phil Ivey, by many considered the GOAT of poker, in the couch. And I was so starstruck, but I felt I had to say something. Yeah. So I went past and say, "What's up, Phil?"
As you do.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, how's it going? Yeah. And that's like, I'm Kim. Remember, I'm Kim.
Exactly.
Never forget. I say, oh, cool, you're playing in the game. And then when going to the table and you see all these legends, Doyle Brunson was there, Daniel Negreanu.
You played with Doyle as well?
Doyle as well, yeah.
Oh my God.
And that's also another, and Patrick Antonius. Yeah. That's also another part where I really feel blessed, because Doyle is one of the old legends, but he's really, really old, so no one knows how long he's gonna keep playing poker.
Oh, of course. People were saying that, 15 years ago.
Yeah,
even
he's still
he's still hanging in there. 90s now or something.
Oh, I don't know exactly. I know he's survived cancer 4 times. So
really,
yeah.
I'll check as we are speaking. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it felt surreal to sit there with the people you've watched on TV and to fulfill my dream. So it was amazing.
Yeah, he's 89 years old. He's gonna turn 90 this year.
Old in the game.
How good is Doyle Brunson at poker?
So when I used to watch high stakes poker and Doyle played like 10-15 years ago, it felt like he played very solid tight, but here he was bluffing a lot.
Yeah.
He bluffed me several times. Sometimes successful, sometimes less successful. Yeah. But I feel he opened up his game a lot. But to be fair, I didn't come there to really sit down and break down everyone how they played. For me, it was just an honor to be there. Yeah. And play with them. So I tried to deliberately. I knew I kind of had to play a bit tight, otherwise they would eat me alive. But then I threw in some bluff. So as I've seen Phil Ivey as the GOAT, I tried to bluff him quite early. And that backfired.
Yeah.
I played that hand. I don't hate how I played the hand, but yeah, could have.
It's so funny with like Phil Ivey and those guys, because they know, of course, that whenever they sit with someone who is not a professional poker player, they know that like there is this like chip on their shoulder, and they want to come away with a story that they bluffed, Phil Ivey or whatever, and so they know that like they can exploit the kind of less experienced players, I suppose. Yeah.
No, the hand is actually on YouTube, I believe, or on PokerGo. I tried to raise him with King 10. kind of lose. He raises, I 3-bet. With King 10, just was like, all right, I put pressure on Phil Ivey, folded. Of course, I didn't fold. Called. King comes on the flop. He checks. I have a quite weak king, check behind. Deuce on the turn. He bets 9k. I call, and then river comes a blank, and he bets like 30k, and I call. And he had, so if I bet the flop, I would probably have taken away because he had a set of deuces. So he had the 2 deuces in his hand.
He got the set on.
I was like, I should have bet the flop, but at least I got a cool story for grandchildren.
Yeah,
and for everyone rooting for me at home.
Yeah, that's for sure. And so how was the game in general then? So and again, like mentally, how do you go into a game like that? Because again, you're sitting down at the biggest game like ever that you play, and then you sit together with the best poker players in the world. I mean, I like, do you like mentally to be able to like play a reasonable game and not just get terrified? Is it like is it something that you put in your mind, or like, are you like, do you go into that game thinking like, I'm probably gonna lose or something, and so like let's just have fun, or did you just kind of sit down and you felt pretty comfortable anyway?
Well, so as I am a casino influencer, what do you want to call it? I try to make sure I got some airtime. So I try to pick some spots where I'd play suboptimal, just so we get some commentating. So AJ and Gabe would say, something about me, but then other than that, I try to play my best poker. So I don't play much poker these days, but I tried to brushing up my game a little bit. I actually had some coaching before for 2 hours, but
2 hours,
2 hours coaching by a really good online grinder.
Yeah,
and then I tried to play my best poker.
Yeah,
so that was kind of my angle to go into this game. I remember I was so bummed out when I saw the hand where Daniel Negreanu bluffed me in a quite big pot, and I wanted to call, but didn't really. Yeah, it didn't really make sense. But I've seen also Daniel Negreanu when he played against Doug Polk. He's evolved his game a lot. So back in the days, he wasn't bluffing as much. Nowadays, he mixes in quite a few bluffs as well. Yeah. Balances his ranges a little bit better.
Yeah, he's one of those poker players, Daniel Negreanu. Of the old school poker players, he's the one who managed to kind of transition to this new way of playing poker that is more GTO driven, like more kind of data driven. Most of the kind of old poker players, they never wanted to make that transition, right?
No, and I'm impressed by that Daniel still tries really, really hard to work on his game. I mean, if you are an old school, pretty solid player, I mean, you could probably get by just keep playing the same poker with slight adjustments that you've always done. In general tight, but he tries to balance it way better these days, and it's fun to see. I'm a huge fan of Daniel as well. Yeah,
because he was considered a fish online for many years, Daniel Negreanu, until he adopted the GTO style of playing, essentially.
I think the challenge with Doug Polk made him evolve a lot. So even if it was expensive for him, I think was a positive expected value because it gives him an opportunity to really evolve playing against one of the best heads-up players out there.
Yeah, for sure. So how did it end up then in the end? Did you manage to win? Did you lose a bit? What was the outcome from high stakes poker?
I actually managed to win. I won net profit 180,000.
Oh my god.
So that was a good day.
It was right, yeah.
But then I lost it on slots, blackjack, roulette, and some video poker.
Well, you win some, you lose some at the end of the day.
Yeah, I tried to make a really big stream in Vegas, and you know the problem when I love gambling, but I had a huge bankroll in Vegas, so it's easy. All right, now I'm up 180k. Let's do a 100k stream, and well, that backfired.
Yeah, well, the viewers were entertained at least.
Yeah, but when you lose that much, in the end, you could see it's
it's hard to sleep that night, I suppose.
Not really. I'm pretty good at, all right, it is what it is. I came here, I had a budget with me. I was prepared to lose it in poker. Yeah. Well, if I lose it here, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. I try to not beat myself up I just try to be smarter next time.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think it will happen again, the high stakes poker game? I was saying, like, do you think you'll return there at some point?
So I was in season 9. I know they recorded season 10 quite recently.
Yeah.
I probably would want to go one more time.
Yeah. I mean, when you tasted it, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, but it was a fun experience. I don't think we're gonna get as crazy of a lineup next time, because literally everyone I could remember wanting to play with the exception of maybe Phil Helmut, who wasn't there. It would be fun to play the Poker Brat as well.
Yeah.
But with the exception of him, all the old school players that I've always dreamed of playing against was there.
Amazing.
So no, I'd love to come back again.
Yeah. I mean, that's a childhood dream coming true, essentially.
Yeah, love it.
Amazing. So to go into the slots game world again, I'm curious to know from your perspective, Kim. Obviously, you're a bit of an expert in slot mechanics, so to say, after playing many different slots. Is there like a secret or a magic formula, rather, of what makes a great slot game, or what, in your opinion, is a great slot game?
I mean, I think it's very important for slot providers to evolve. So what used to work 10 years ago doesn't necessarily work today. So it's very important for providers to follow the market and really understand what players want. And there is some that's done that great, and some that hasn't done it as great.
Can you mention? Do you think that have gone up and down? No, you're not gonna get away with this.
Well, it's no secret. Like, so a fun story is when I started streaming, I only played NetEnt. I loved their slots, and they stated RTP. I thought they were very fair. I got lucky. I won sometimes, but then it was a little bit the same machines coming over and over again, and then I started playing other providers that I felt maybe adjusted more to my taste in volatility. So usually when you play, the more you play, the more your taste in volatility goes up.
Yeah.
Or you want to at least have a chance to win really big.
Yeah.
But I still believe that it's never too late to come back again. But I remember so clearly only playing NetEnt in my first 3-4 months, and then the viewer said, Kim, you should try this and that. And then I mean, I think we all, if you check the top list, you can see which providers are doing good.
But would you mention like a game studio that has maybe evolved recently, like a small studio that is really up and coming? Is there any one of those that stand out? There's so many small game studios. Like, do you think any of them are on the way to become the next kind of tier 1 game studio?
I mean, to become the tier 1, I don't think that's extremely difficult, because you have to make a certain amount of games as well. It's a lot of games coming out now. It's a lot of mass producing reskins and so on. But I believe there are many that do a good job. You have Print, you have Slots Mill, and so on, that's actually doing a really good job. From the smaller ones that I think can grow a lot.
Fair enough. So to go back to this question on kind of what in your eyes makes a great slot game. You mentioned here, for example, that you are a big fan of like high volatility, and I suppose that's a bit of a trend in general. Is there a more clear formula for you to explain what we're
I mean, we co-create some. We consult in slot. We have made 3 slots with Relax so far. We've made Iron Bank first, then Beast Mode, and now Net Gains. That was released recently. But and then actually I have for you. So this is the first time it's mentioned. I haven't even mentioned this on the stream, but I thought I'd give you something tasty. No, you won't get too much information. But actually, the 4th slot is coming out.
The 4th is coming out
in March.
What an honor! Okay.
In March we're releasing the.
Can you tease a little bit about this at least?
It's going to be a powerful slot.
A powerful slot. Is that a hint in its own?
That's a hint in its own.
Oh, like, and it's with Relax?
It's with Relax. It's a fourth game collaboration with Relax.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And yeah, they've been amazing to work with, and we worked really good with their team. And that is something that has also been another dream of mine since I started playing slots, to be involved in these collaborations. So it's been amazing to be able to work on that as well, and kind of put your own ideas into reality with the slots.
Yeah, exactly, because you take, you know, all the experience that you have as a passionate slot enthusiast, say, and to be able to put that into an actual game. Is it? I would imagine that it's harder than it's.
It's more difficult than it looks. It's a lot of tweaking. So basically, what we do most of is with the math models. A lot of tweaking with the math, and I think it comes down, for me as a more experienced player, it comes down a lot to the math. That the math feels good, and there is good pacing in slots.
Yeah, fair enough. So we talked earlier, Kim, about like what was your first kind of memory of gambling for money. But I'm also curious to know, like, do you have any memory that stands out in general of a moment that maybe you won big or you lost big or something like this? Do you have any particular memory that stands out to you from your gambling career?
I mean, it's quite fun. During high stakes poker, as I had a big bankroll, I played insanely high, and I could say that there were two memories of that trip that were on the same day. That were from low to high. So basically, it was the stream. I think we lost $120,000 on the stream, and I was like, oh, that was so unnecessary. That was stupid. Could have just lowered the bets. We were ice cold. I raised and I hope to get back. Yeah. But then later that evening, I had my bankroll on Aria, so I wired there for high stakes poker. So I went over to Aria and played super high stakes video poker. So I played $1,000 per spin on video poker.
Oh my god!
And then later that night. I don't know.
$1,000.
Yeah, it's a bit steep.
Did you get to sleep in Aria for free at least?
They don't like video poker. I think I would have, but in general, casinos don't like video poker players that much because
their RTP is
about 99.54%.
All right.
So it's very even if you're playing extremely high, you would. Your burn rate, your average burn rate is not that high. Okay. But then I played video poker and then I hit a royal, not a Delt Royal, unfortunately. A Delt Royal would have paid 900,000, I think. Okay. But I got it. I got 4 to royal, and then on the last card, I got the King of Diamonds for $200,000. So I won back what we lost on the stream. Still didn't save the trip still didn't profit on the trip, but it felt good. It felt like a little bit of justice there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the fun thing is if the king of diamonds was in the center reel, and if it hits in top or bottom, it's 200,000. But if it had hit in the middle, it would have been $500,000.
Okay.
Well, so instantly I scream, and it's like almost blackout on the screaming. And I texted my video poker professional friend in Vegas, and he said, "Middle would have paid $500,000. Aim better." You know, it's like I always have to say something. But no, that's some of the most crazy gambling I've done in my life, and very adrenaline filled, and that was 2 of the most distinct memories I have, because it was all super bad and it was all super good. And then
I remember back, you know, there was this like famous, I think it was maybe in the end of the 90s or beginning of 2000s, there was this guy who became famous because he kind of sold his house, he sold everything he owned, and he wanted to put his life on black, essentially, on like one roulette spin, you know, double or nothing in your life. Have you seen this?
Oh yeah. There's a few.
It's like a legendary clip, like from very back. And there is something like really exciting about that thought. You know what I mean? Like to put your entire life on just a spin of roulette, and either you double or you're nothing. You know, you lose or you double. And obviously he ended up winning, right? He doubled his life winning. I mean, do you get sometimes? I mean. Would you ever consider doing something like that?
No, I've always been there.
Also, you'd be famous for...
I mean, I've always been good with bankroll management during my poker career. So I was never the best player, but I have very good table selection and very good bankroll management.
Yeah.
Same these days when I play slots and table games, that I've always been good with bankroll management. So I wouldn't risk everything, because doubling it wouldn't change that much.
No, exactly.
But and the fun thing with these stories is you only hear the ones who's winning.
Right. Right.
So I wonder if there are any stories about the ones losing as well. But those obviously wouldn't be as fun. No. But there is a quite interesting topic that leads kind of from this. Like, there is an optimal strategy how you play. Let's say you have an 80-20 position. How much of your net worth would you bet on on that? There's actually a formula for that plays it out perfectly.
Okay.
I don't remember what the exact percentage. I think it's at 80%. It's like 60% of everything you own.
Yeah.
If you can do it again and again and again, and eventually that will maximize your winnings.
Right. But another question as well is like, how much, like in a coin flip ish scenario, what is the percentage that you would require to put your life savings?
I would probably say
in a double.
It's like everything.
Yeah,
it's like
everything.
Literally everything.
Yes,
I'm on the street of these beautiful hoodies.
Yes.
I don't think there is a scenario where I would do it. That would be close to 99%.
Yep.
And probably because the thing is if you double your money. So if you go from 0 to 10,000, that's a big step from 0 to 10,000. But if you go from 10,000 to 20,000, it's not as the money becomes less important for you.
Right.
So it's not really worth it.
Yeah.
Because I don't see if it would change anything.
Oh.
And it's like obviously losing would change everything. So
You know how you cheat that game, Kim? You settle on a deal. Okay, we'll do 90%, and then you buy insurance.
Yeah, then you insure it. Then you call Phil Helmuth and give him a good insurance.
Yeah. Then you're plus EV. You don't have to worry.
Yeah, no, that's then I would do it.
Then yes. I don't know what for me it would be. It's an interesting.
Yeah, it's a question for you as well. What?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you're, even sitting at in a high stakes poker scenario. Say that you would, do really well in high stakes poker, and you're already playing the biggest game of your life. Say that you go from, your 100K buy-in up to say 500,000, and all of a sudden you sit with 500,000, and it's life-changing money more or less. You get into a hand, you sit with like, I don't know, ace 5 or something, and just for the hypothetical scenario. You're in the big blind, it's folded all the way to the small blind, and the small blind goes all in the dark, for example. Do you call? What's the hand that you need to call in?
Well, the average hand is Queen 7, I believe, and I think this theory would be pretty much when you 4x in Ultimate Texas Hold'em. So all aces, King 5 or better, Queen 8 or better, Jack 10.
but the point is more like, do you call whenever you are 50+% in an expected value, or do you say like, no, it's not worth the coin flip? Or
in that case, I would call if I was 50+%.
Yeah. That is brave.
But but it's very important, I believe, even if you play a game that is big, that you try to still play optimal, because if you start playing too scared money, that will affect your results. But that actually did happen. So when we played, at one point I had like 400,000 at the table on high stakes poker, and I noticed Tom Dwan, he can play a bit tricky sometimes. And he did some spots where I really wanted to re-raise, but also had sold my friends, a couple of friends, like 20% in total. And I didn't really want to lose their money, so it was a little bit of...
Yeah, that's a problem as
well. Even if it would cost me more, I was like, all right, I'll just... And also, it felt good to actually come out on top. So in those situations, I don't think I played as good as I would have if I hadn't sold percentages, sold 20%, or if I was not that much up. Because if I was closer to break even, I probably would have played differently. Yeah, exactly. More what I see as optimal.
Yeah, because that is the problem with nosebleed poker games, is that it starts affecting your decision making at the end of the day. If you start realizing how much money is at stake when it gets to those levels.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
There is a point.
It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So no, I agree. Your decision making will very often be affected by the dollar amounts.
Yeah, fair enough. So going back to Twitch, Kim, a while back, Twitch obviously banned streaming from certain unregulated casinos, like Stake.com, Roobet, and the other crypto casinos, as a response to the community outcry of the kind of gambling addiction that surfaced amongst some of the one of the major streamers. Has this ban been effective, first of all?
Well, they straight up call them by name, and then I've seen people playing other crypto casinos that would fall into the same category, but I don't know if they've been banned or so. But I think it's been effective in achieving what they wanted to achieve, to get rid of some of the main brands that were giving people money to play with in certain situations as well, where they have said, I have a problem with gambling, I don't want to gamble, but I get free money to gamble.
Yeah, so you continue.
So that's not a good situation at all. No. So I think it's been effective in that sense.
Yeah, and that must have been a great thing for you guys. I mean, because obviously these kind of nefarious streamers went away, but obviously the community who likes to watch streaming are still there. So you must have seen a pretty decent uptick in subscribers.
Yeah, we definitely seen some uptick after that, and so obviously in that sense I'm happy as well. But I think it comes back to with what I believe, that the good guys will win in the long run. But you can also, I understand why crypto streaming has been become such a big thing, because when regulators regulate, it feels like they're not gamblers themselves. So it feels like they don't really understand what they regulate. So I would, for example, or we at CasinoGrounds would love to have a dialogue with Twitch, YouTube, and regulators, the UKGC, the SGA, and so on, to try and keep people to stay at the regulated casinos where they have protection.
Right.
But I feel like the regulators in some cases can destroy the gambling experience. And I mean, it's so easy to just switch to a crypto site or unregulated these days that people will do it.
Yeah, for sure. And so, do you have a good dialogue with Twitch, for example? Is that something that takes place?
It's very difficult to find humans on these big tech companies. Yeah. you mostly talk to robots.
Yeah.
No, we reach out to them with limited success.
Yeah.
There's sometimes we get a hold of someone, but not to have a dialogue about these things. And I think that would be extremely healthy for casino streaming in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
I think a system maybe where you could whitelist certain casinos. So casinos could apply to Twitch. We want to be a casino that is streamed on Twitch. And Twitch would present to them, these are the rules for that.
Yeah, that seems to make sense.
That would have been very good, because then people would know, all right, this is what this is.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have to be worried, is it sponsored money? Is it fake money? Is it whatever it is? These would be the rules, and everyone would have to play by the rules. Yeah. I think that would be extremely good.
Do you think the slot category should be age restricted?
Yeah, well, it kind of is, in the sense that you have to confirm that you're at age, and also that I don't think slots are as appealing, because we play licensed sites, so you can't play unless you're in age. So then you can't really be a part of the community unless you have the age. I don't think it's that interesting to to the others. I'm sure someone will disagree with me here and be happy to hear your opinions about it. But I believe that it kind of aims towards older people.
Yeah, fair enough.
So if you look at our numbers, for example, we have extremely, I mean, the ones that are below 18, that's basically a misclick.
Yeah, okay.
So it's that low. People, when you talk to the UK GC, for example, and they say, what is the rule? That's maximum 25% when they run like a sports ad or something. It's a maximum 25% that can be under 18. So they have to run it at different times and so on.
Oh, right.
And they say 25%.
Yeah.
And I think we have 0.3%.
Yeah. But the regulator doesn't understand this, then?
No, and this is once again where it would be good to have a dialogue as CasinoGrounds and with the regulators to also to make sure we can have gambling stay in a moderate way and in a good way.
It must be a bit scary at the same time for you guys, obviously being so dependent on a platform like Twitch, and also perhaps when you don't have that great connection with the platform, that they can take these like very quick decisions that you're not a part of. Do you sometimes lose sleep over thinking that maybe Twitch will someday close the slot category, or a regulator will come in and do it for you?
Yeah, well, I don't really lose sleep, but I know obviously there is always a risk with having a third-party platform that you can't control. But this is something that every single content creator in the entire world has. Yeah. So how far can I push my content? And that's why when we gamble, we have pretty strict guidelines when we play and when we stream to make sure that whatever happens, even if we would fall with it, which was lucky now when Twitch changed the rules, that they feels like they acknowledge, all right, there are some that's behaving and some that's misbehaving. We take away the main ones that's misbehaving. I feel like if we play what we consider fair and honest and transparent, I do believe that in the long run that will be taken into consideration.
Right. And also looking at Twitch from a helicopter view, I don't think the slot category is like the biggest of the problems. Without going too much into detail.
Without going too much into detail.
Sometimes you misclick into the just chatting category, and then you end up there for hours.
Yeah, just a misclick took me here.
Damn it.
But yeah, no, obviously it's gonna be like this when content is pushed, and that's once again why I think it would be good if they had more set out rules and maybe kind of an organization for some of the categories that might upset people, like gambling and the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but
we leave that to the viewer's imagination. So Kim, how do you think the slot streaming on Twitch will continue to evolve? Is there any, like, if you look at when you started in 2015, how has slot streaming evolved since then? And are you seeing any like potential trends emerging, or is it a kind of pretty much static experience for the viewers?
I mean, I think it's down to every single streamer and try and make the content unique. And we're trying many different things from our side. So we're trying different things like the poker, and we also do a lot of sports betting and stuff like that. I personally love poker, sports betting, slots, table games, you name it. Whatever it is, I'm going to be there, have a punt. But no, so I think it's important as a creator to try and listen to your audience and try and adjust your content for the audience to like. So it's different. It's very important to go with the trends and try and do different things. We do a bit of IRL content as well. We have a streaming backpack and so on. So we're trying different things. But I do believe that there will always be this, what would you call the meta? So it will always be something that is popular for a while, and then it changes to something else. So it's just have your ear on the rail and see what's coming.
And like if you are a new streamer and you want to break through, and you don't have any followers, you start from zero, what recommendations do you have for kind of new streamers who wants to
I mean, try to do it in a way where you're honest and transparent. For me, that's extremely important.
Right.
And then try that, because when you're very small, that's when you have almost direct contact with the few people watching, and try to have them help you evolve. All right, should we do this? Oh, this was really fun. Let's do this and that, and try to cherry pick the good opinions that are more successful from the ones that might not be as successful. And I think it's very important to stay active in the community. So if you're a very small streamer, try to be in other streamer chats. Don't maybe not beg for hosts and stuff like that, but try to be in other streamer chats, see what's happening, what do people seem to like. And also, I think you should be on forums like CasinoGrounds.com forum, and try to post there and be active in discussions, because that's often how you find people who enjoy watching the slots content, and that's also how you could attract them to watch you.
Right. So essentially, it's not just about starting streaming and hope that people will enjoy your stream, but it's also being active to try to build your own name in other streamers communities, for example, to become a known name within the community.
Yeah, try to be active around the section as well. I mean, it can be very expensive to gamble, so set a budget, try to be active around in the community, and try to be somewhat consistent. Maybe start with a few streams a week on the same time every time, so people know, all right, at this time and hour, Pierre is going to be there.
Yes.
Pierre is going to be there. He's going to be playing, and yeah. I think that's very good to be consistent as well.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe if this argument
maybe
thing
you
doesn't
should
work
join
out.
a stream.
Yeah, we can switch positions.
We have guests quite frequently. So maybe you should join.
I'm available whenever you need me.
Let us know in the comments.
Yes, exactly. Let us know, and I'll join Kim. I'll be there with my own money as well. I'll have a bit of a gamble. So I've been a bit disconnected from gambling the last couple of years. Like we used to gamble all the time. Like and I have so many like fond memories from that time as well. So I'm ready to make a comeback, Kim. So
that is extremely fun. It's extremely fun, and we have guests quite frequently on the stream as well, and they can be someone that I know from Malta, someone that is a viewer coming visiting, or it can literally be almost anyone. There are some people that does like, okay, this would be a little bit too much.
Okay,
it's risky.
Fair enough. So we're gonna start rounding off here in a little bit, Kim. This has been fantastic, by the way, to have you here. But
it's been amazing to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I have just a couple more short questions for you here. So first of all, obviously you built CasinoGrounds in an incredibly good way. What comes next now for you guys? Is there any? Can you give us a hint into any plans that you have for 2023, perhaps, or is there anything that you're looking forward to?
I mean, saying I built CasinoGrounds is way too much of an overstatement. I mean, we have a brilliant team. We have a brilliant team of people, and I think what's coming next. I mean, something. Like, since we started doing slots, I'm very passionate. I have so many ideas, some good, some less good, but no, I'm very excited to keep making slots together with providers. The providers make them, but we throw our ideas, and together we tweak them. So I'm very, very excited in doing more slot collaborations from a personal point of view. And then I'm very excited. We have a meetup, a viewer meetup in London, the 11th of February. I'm very, very excited about that. We couldn't have it for 2 years due to the COVID. So
you mentioned the viewer meetups. Can you explain more what it is?
So basically, anyone that watches the stream or is somehow wants to can come and meet us in London. So it's right after ICE. Saturday after ICE, the 11th of February. So basically, just send me a PM on CasinoGrounds forum. It's like, tell me you wanna join, and you can join. And we'll eat, we'll drink, and we'll give it a spin. That's the plan. That's the roadmap for a meetup.
Final question for you here today, Kim. Usually there's this like thought experiment when you say like, if you could have dinner with like your favorite people in the world, who would it be? But I want to ask you a slightly different question. If you could put together the perfect poker game with 4 other individuals, and it can be anyone in the world, dead or alive, or whoever it may be, what 4 people would you choose?
Oh, that's all right. That's
a big question.
That's a difficult question. So, do I want to be profitable in this game or not?
That's up to you. Yeah, that's up to you to decide. It's let's say that it's a fairly reasonable game, 5-10 euro cash game. It's not
all right.
like a
so
big
it's not gonna be like I invite the three biggest fish I know. Phil Pearson is one of them.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, easy money. I mean, no. you need one major fish at least who can fund the table. Yeah,
jokes aside, it would probably be Phil Ivey. I think he has done so many next level plays that it's amazing. And playing a 5-10 game, maybe I could just ask him about some hands and learn that way. I would probably take Stu Unger.
Oh, yeah, classic.
Legendary.
Classic.
But sadly, he passed away way too early.
In the 90s, yeah. Back in there, yeah.
So it's me +4 or me +3.
So 4 people you can choose, except for
all right.
Yes.
I'll probably have Daniel Negreanu. He's fun, and I can learn something, and he's good for table talk.
Yeah.
Phil Ivey is not... He actually talks way more outside hands.
Okay.
But I think he wants to be quiet during hands.
Yeah.
So he seems not that talkative, but outside he asks a lot of questions. Yeah. And then one more. Doyle Brunson. Doyle Brunson.
I remember in the 2000s when these like mythical poker players were talked about. It almost felt like they were like superhuman, unbeatable. And I remember Stu Unger was like the most mythical player. Like he was he had like some superhero kind of powers when he was sitting down at the poker table. He won the WSOP back to back, was it something like that? Or
yeah, and then went bust on dice or something like that, and then borrowed money and won
like
it.
Legendary, like he personified like the kind of like the gambler in a sense, to Unger.
No, it's so many legendary stories. And I mean, it feels like he played GTO in 90s. 30 years before anyone knew what GTO was. Oh no, I wanted to do Patrick Antonius as well, because he's the nicest guy probably in poker that I met. He's so nice. He looks intimidating at the table. He's so kind.
Yeah. Okay, we'll allow it. We'll allow 600.
Yeah, 600 game. Perfect.
Kim, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. You're an absolute legend in the industry. There's no doubt why you are so popular at what you do, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor to be here, and I hope to be on another episode.
Absolutely, anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.